in that bucket. That bucket needs to be emptied out at least once a week. And then there's still a little bit here and here, so I'm going to rinse it off real quick before I put it back in there. So we have a hose right here. I'm going to turn on the hose. And then just rinse it off real quick. This has to be put back in a special way. There's an opening here to compensate for this pipe here. And there's a slot here that fits onto the key that's there. So I'm just going to make sure there's nothing here that needs to come out, any extra here, anything. Just got a little bit. I'm going to place this down and then make sure it pushes down so that it seats well. Okay, so right where it needs to be. If you don't do that, you will not be able to put this lid back on. Lid goes back on, and it turns just to tighten. You want to make sure you can't lift up on it. It's nice and tight. Before I go to the next step, I'm going to open this up. This is for chlorine tablets. When I look in there, there is some chlorine, but I'm going to add a little bit more. So I'm going to go over to here. These are the chlorine tablets. This lid should always be on so it's secured. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to take a couple of them out, and I'm just going to put them into the tower. And I'm going to put this on, nice and secure. You have to make sure it's secure so there's no air going in there, otherwise the pump won't operate properly. Now again, with the system off, I'm going to take it from filter, which is normal run, and I'm going to push it back and rotate it to backwash. That's the first place we're going to bring it. I'll come back here. I'm going to turn the button on. And I'm listening to make sure that it's running. And I'm going to make sure that I start to see the water flow in here. Because that means that the pump is primed. And it's working. It's getting there. See how it's filling up. Once it gets fully primed, like it is now, water will start coming out of the back of that fence there. And what I'm looking for is for the water to run clearly. I'm just going to watch it down here when it starts coming out. Can you see it from that view? It's right down here. It's not happening yet. Not flowing yet. There we go. From this angle, you can see that the water is cloudy and there's leaves coming out, so it's dirty water. That's all the stuff that's trapped in here. So all that's coming out. You're going to want that to run for at least a minute or two, or until you notice that the water is running clear. Once that water runs clear, we're going to turn off the filter, change the setting on the dial to rinse, put it back on again, let it go for about another minute, turn it off, put it back to backwash, turn it off, and then put it back to filter. And that's just make sure we're trying to jumble everything up that's inside this tank to make sure it gets out and we have a nice clean filter. So at this point, I would normally let it run longer, but I'm going to do the process for you so it's on video. So I'm going to come back over here and turn it off with the button. I'm listening to make sure I don't hear the filter anymore. I know that it's not running because I can see it, that it's not moving there. So I'm going to take it from backwash to rinse. Backwash to rinse. I'm going to turn it on. And again, I want it to run for about 45 seconds to a minute on rinse before I turn it off and put it to backwash and let it run again. Let's just assume it ran for a minute. I'm going to turn it off. I'm listening for it. Turn it off. I'm going to backwash right here. letting it run for about a minute before I put it to normal operating procedure, which is filter. Let's assume that it's been on for a minute. I'm going to press the button off. I'm going to turn this from backwash to filter. Here to here. And I'm going to put it back on. And it should be finished. Now, you notice over there at the pool, you can see the fountains running down. That's because we have a clear filter. Before, the filter wasn't clear and clean, so we didn't have enough suction to push that water